righty, welcome in and welcome back, everybody, to Sports Prophet TV. This is the MLS Live podcast. As always, I'm Cooper, aka the Sports Prophet. With me is my guy Garrett, JSomefooty on Twitter. Right off the bat, just want to kind of recap first couple of weeks.
Train wreck done.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine with me. Look, I mean, like I told somebody this on Saturday, and 99% of you guys that watch are fantastic, and the other ones, we still appreciate you watching, either way. But we've been doing this for 3-4 years now. The results have been pretty solid. It is a free show, and the thing about it is a long season, number one. Number two, it'll turn, right? So
it's like I said, hundreds of bets, literally hundreds of bets between now and the end of the season. You're gonna have peaks and valleys in gambling in any sport. It just is. It sucks that it's at the beginning of the season, right? Like that's just you're starting out in a hole. It's fine. I have no concerns. We've done it year in and year out, so we'll be fine. But I mean, I adjusted some stuff from last week to this week. Like there's just things you need to do when you are, a little colder or not, in the best vein, to adjust, and weather those downtimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. And another thing, like, this is something that both of us do on a daily basis, and we've done it for a while. Be honest with yourself about the losses. Be honest with yourself about the quality of the reads. And we've always done that. We're going to continue to do that. It doesn't mean we're making excuses. It just means like, hey, look, in hindsight, this was an A- read. Probably should have cashed. Didn't come through. I'm okay with the read, but
I think I've been on 3 overs. All 3 overs ended 0-0. Like that's more than just coincidence at that point, right? Like you're flat missing stuff and with that kind of trend. So yeah, no, you have to look yourself in the mirror, and there are definitely teams that I thought I knew about going into the season that I had the wrong reads on, and so we adjust and we move, adapt or die, and that's it.
For sure. And the only reason I'm even really talking about it on the show is because I haven't gotten around to recapping on the Twitter page. I do want to make sure to do one or the other, even though, again, it is a free page, but I want to keep it transparent. So that's the reason that I even wanted to mention it when we started the show today, because I haven't recapped the record yet on the Twitter. So I'm always going to do one or the other. I'm probably going to start doing it on Twitter, and we don't even have to get into it on the show, right? But let's jump into it, though. We got some games to get to, and we owe you guys some winners. So let's get to it. All right, first game that we are going to get to is going to be FC Dallas hosting the Chicago Fire. All right, so this is a game. Initially, when I looked at it, and look, I'll look at it. I'll monitor the weather, as we get closer to game time, right? I was going to have a 2-unit wager on this game. Still a very strong read. Still a chance that, depending on the weather can change a lot. By Saturday, maybe it gets, the storm comes in a little bit later than it's supposed to, right? As of now, going to be rainy, and it's going to get cold. And down here in Texas, cold is like 40s. Like that's pretty cold for us Texas boys. So it's going to be like upper 30s, 40s, by probably mid game for this one, and rainy. So I still like it. I still like it a whole lot, because I'm really impressed with FC Dallas's attack. I love what the new manager's done since last year. The managerial switch over, they've just played a lot more open. And now with Acosta, Acosta is still Acosta, without a doubt. And him linking up.
Does he look smaller in Dallas than he did in Cincy?
I think Musa's just a freaking giant.
Is that what it is? Because
yeah,
I mean, so Acosta, for his goal last week, when he just kind of did the give and go with Musa and wove in between some defenders, I was like, I knew Acosta was small. Like, I knew he was a small guy, and that those guys usually are your better dribblers. But that play just stuck out, and I was like, "Dang, he's tiny."
He is, but man, he's got a hell of a handle. So I'm rocking with the FC Dallas team total over 1.5 at -140. There's multiple spots that I found where this was -140. Of course, I'm primarily offshore. I do have some domestic ties. If I need to get money down domestically, it can be done. But mostly, I'm looking at the offshore books when I'm shopping for prices. Garrett is mostly looking at the domestic stuff, which is good because it will get you prices from both sides of the line. But yeah, to me, this closes like should close like -200. Like I would have made this like a -200 line at team total over 1.5. I really like I think this FC Dallas attack is going to be good, really good. I think they're going to be really good the whole year. With Acosta and Musa and some speed out wide. And Chicago has looked abysmal. I mean, talk about one of those bad beats, right? Last week in that over, Chicago, well, I call it a bad week. There was a lot of XG in that game, but bicycle kick in the last second of the game to kill our under. But their defense has been so bad. I think this is an easy winner, to be honest with you, even in the rain and the cold. If it's like not as bad as I think it's going to be weather-wise, I'll probably upgrade this to a 2 unit.
I don't think you'll be able to.
Because
I think it'll move.
Oh,
I think it'll move. Like, so here's what I'll say to this thing, because I also was like, yeah, Dallas team total over 1.5. If I wasn't in a funk right now, like this would be a 2 unit, like no blinking, like just 2 units, fire it. Domestically, it's around the same price, like -145 is what I was seeing. So you're in the same ballpark. What I would do here, if you're concerned about weather or temperature, I'm not concerned about the temperature in Dallas. I'm not concerned about the temperature really in Texas ever, as far as in terms of cold. So if you have concerns, I promise you will be able to hedge out at a really nice price. Like there's no way this price, in my opinion, gets better. This price is only going to get worse from here to the end of the week. So this is one of those opportunities where I think you can take the play you like, and then if you want to hedge out, you can get out scot-free. Is what this is going to turn into, I think. So Chicago, one of those teams that I was just absolutely dead wrong about. I wasn't wrong about Bamba. I like Bamba a lot. He's looked good. I just thought Chicago was going to be more sound on defense with Berhalter there. I have no idea what's going on because this is the worst defensive team through 2 weeks of the season, bar none. It's not close. So you could take team total over 1.5 for pretty much anybody, especially with Chicago traveling. Yeah, this is a fantastic look. Probably my favorite look on the slate.
Yep, I'm with you there, and I think you're right. I think the line moves. The only thing that even puts you in a position where you want to hedge out of it would be like torrential downpour, where it's like the field becomes waterlogged or something. And it does look rainy, but probably not going to be that bad. So I might end up firing 2 units on this one, and then if I do want to hedge out, it's going to be there, like you said.
Yeah, however many units. I mean, as long as you're betting responsibly, right? However many units you want to put down on this, there will be a hedge out opportunity. Like I can almost guarantee it.
Right on. All righty, cool. Starting the show with a banger. Next one, we are going to have a combo play from you.
Okie dokie. So yeah, I've adjusted a little bit of what I'm coming this week with. I'm now, most of y'all know me. I'm a pretty conservative bettor as is, right? Like I don't throw out lavish units. I don't do a lot of craziness. So this is even more conservative than I usually am, and that's just good, man. Tighten the purse strings, tighten up your looks a little bit when you're running in a bad rut. But this was just a fun play that I could not believe when I started piecing it together. So the play is going to be Galaxy team total. That's their team total under 2.5. So Galaxy less than 3 goals by themselves as they host St. Louis. and Minnesota United team total over a half, or Minnesota United to score as they travel to San Jose. So I'm going to get into this. What first caught my eye about this was just the Galaxy total in general, right? Like we were on a St. Louis over last week. The Galaxy have not looked good with no Puig and no Paint Seal. And this total was like at a juice 3.5. And so I was like, okay, whoa, let me reassess. Like, what am I missing? Let me dive in.
Right.
And so like I can't make heads or tails of it as far as why this is the total. However, I know what I've seen from the Galaxy so far. I know what we're seeing from them literally right now in CONCACAF. So we've seen enough of the Galaxy to know that they miss Ricky more than anyone could have imagined. And without Paint Seal and his speed on the other side of the pitch, this team is one-dimensional, one-sided, predictable. It's peck or bust. And when teams can focus on him and not give him space to burn them, it's just asking a lot from a future superstar. And I fully believe Peck is a future superstar, like somewhere. I think he's going to go on to have a fantastic career. Through 2 games, St. Louis defense has showed up for them as their attack has been slow to get off the ground with a .60 expected goals against average through 2 games. Solid. It's also been good business to fade CONCACAF teams as we get into knockout rounds, as the extra games and travel pile up, and many teams have to choose which competition to focus on for the time being. I just don't know where 3 goals for Galaxy come from. And then as we shift to the Minnesota United at San Jose game, I mean, I might just die on the San Jose team is not good hill. That's probably where I'm just going to like plant my flag this season. And you can just go ahead, make a nice little grave, and I'll get buried in it if I have to. They've let 2 very bad teams get looks on them throughout both games, have a top 10 worst expected goals against average in the league so far, and somehow have only surrendered 1 goal. I like this Minnesota side a lot. They were in a game with LAFC early and should have probably netted in that first half, and then looked extremely comfortable versus Montreal despite only a 1-0 scoreline after 90. Minnesota was the best away team last season in the West and averaged 1.65 goals on the road in 2024. And there are reasons why Minnesota has the second lowest moneyline odds of any away side this week. And so I put this together. I'm going to get -117 here domestically. You probably get a better line offshore if you find that, but I was perfectly fine with this line given just these more conservative looks here, where I'm like, I just don't need the Galaxy to get 3, right? I just need Minnesota to get 1. And I like both of these matchups a lot.
Yeah. I had interest in both of these games, and almost like basically similar looks, like the under in general on the Galaxy game. I mean, I don't really know what St. Louis is going to be this year. I haven't really figured that out yet. But we know that Galaxy look really bad. Speaking of Galaxy, I just saw Christian Ramirez get subbed on for Miguel Berry, and every time he goes in the game, I just shocked that he's still a professional soccer player.
I would take Miguel Berry's career any day. Like I wish I was able to do that.
Well, yeah, but holy moly, dude,
it's rough. It's rough, and yet sign me up
for sure. Yeah, I'm with you, but yeah. So, like you said, Galaxy, they're having a hard time creating right now without Puig and some, the speed with Paint. So the other game, San Jose and Minnesota, I really like this Minnesota team, and I'm with you. I think the Quakes are getting a little bit too much credit so far. And I think Minnesota, the game last week was like, you can almost just like disregard it because it was like 20 degrees, right? I mean, they did score at the end of the game, they won, but as far as like chance creation and stuff, it was just way too cold. I thought they looked pretty damn good against LAFC on the road to open the season. And I almost will see. I have some interest in Minnesota's first half team total to come out and score a goal in the first half. It's plus money. And I like the way that lines up. I like their counter. So I think that's a good look too. But yeah, I mean, even safer just having them to score a goal in the entire game. I think they score probably more than one goal in this game, to be honest with you. But
That's
I like
plus
both.
money.
Yeah, yeah.
I was debating. I was debating how aggressive do I want to get here. Like team total over 1.5 is plus money on the road. I mean, like I said, had to really rein in this week. Really wanted to work really hard to find winners, even if we have to eat a little juice on a two-legger, which is not my typical thing. I think y'all know that. Rarely will you see me play a two-legger, and it is any kind of juice whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it. I mean, where we are right now, we need some winners. So I like both of those looks. All right, on to the next one here. Excuse my voice. My voice is like going out tonight. Vancouver at home hosting Montreal, two Canadian clubs. Man, talking about XG, Vancouver has the highest XG differential in Major League Soccer right now between chances, expected goals scored and allowed. It's like over 5 goals on the differential. This Vancouver team has come out of the gates really, really well. They're playing confident. And it makes sense because like they didn't have a ton of turnover, right? So like they came out and were gelling, right away, made some
It was
additions.
a new coach. That was the big question mark. Is
Yeah.
they let go of Sartini? Is like, is this guy gonna keep it moving forward like that? That's a tight rope to walk, man. When you feel like you're in win now and you make a coaching change, you really needed to keep going forward, and they've looked good.
Yeah, they have looked good. Absolutely. And they'll be home again for this one. Montreal, again, they were a part of that Minnesota game last week where you just kind of throw it in the trash, to be honest with you. It was bitterly cold. And it was just everybody was hanging on for dear life in that game. Even Minnesota was. But Montreal looked really dangerous in the first week against Atlanta, who obviously has some serious defensive issues themselves. But Montreal did look really dangerous. So credit to them. They're on the road here again. I like the way they looked on the road to open the season. As far as their counter, and we've talked about this Montreal team being all gas, no brakes, right? Both teams of scores playable. I think both find the net here. I think this is there are not very many both teams to scores that are playable, period, anymore right now in Major League Soccer. I mean, that's almost like a thing of the past at this point, unless you want to use them for parlay legs. But this one is playable, and I don't really think it should be. I think it should be there with the rest of them. So I like this look.
I searched for ways to back Montreal here. I'm entering this mode where I want to fade these CONCACAF sides. Like I talked about with my Galaxy breakdown. I just want to fade them. Vancouver is hurting. Adikube is injured. I think it's almost a given. He didn't make the squad tonight. I think it's almost a given he misses this weekend.
Yeah.
Ocampo, his fill-in, he's playing tonight. He is suspended this weekend. The back line is questionable for Vancouver this weekend. Montreal to find the net. I like what I'm seeing in Vancouver. CONCACAF teams worry me, man. But Montreal on the road. I mean, we were on the Atlanta team total as a parlay leg with Montreal as they hosted. They scored 3.
Yep.
I know Atlanta's attack is good, even though they got shut out the last week. But Montreal on the road is a team you can attack for goals, and so I actually think this is a really good look, especially given the price. This is one that I would hop on.
Cool. Fantastic. All right. Moving on. Another combo play. What do we got?
Man, I'm just going to be super boring this weekend, guys. But no apologies. This is just going to be an under 3.5 parlay between these two games. So Nashville SC under 3.5 as they host Portland Timbers, and Real Salt Lake under 3.5 as they host San Diego. for just a plus 105. Like easy breezy right here. Portland are traveling. They would be more potent in attack if healthy. However, to start the season, they've had Rodriguez, Mosquera, and Moreno all injured, and they're all questionable still here. David DaCosta is really the only attacking threat, with some Anthony sprinkled in there. But Nashville is in a similar boat here, missing attacking pieces: Brugman, Schaffelberg, Tyler Boyd. None of them have played so far this season. The offense hasn't looked good for either side. Granted, the Timbers went down a man in match week 1 after only 11 minutes. But I believe that missing players from both sides, it's hampering the attack so far this season. And I just have difficulty, making the argument that you see 4 goals here. Like, it's going to take some set pieces, a penalty, something like, for you to get 4 goals between two teams that are just really struggling to score because they just don't have all their weapons out there right now. And I don't like how Nashville have looked. Like, I tried to give them a pass in week 1. In week 2, it was terrible. I don't know what Callahan's trying to do. I'll get off my Nashville soapbox now. In the RSL San Diego match, I mean, RSL is another bad attack, and so that's just a spot I want to focus on for an under. They're hosting San Diego, whose system so far has given 2 MLS teams fits through 2 weeks of play. I talked about San Diego in the preseason show about how I don't know how you trust this defense, and I think San Diego might not trust them much either, as their system is done in a way where everyone tends to stay close together. This allows for very successful counter pressing should San Diego ever turn it over. And this is what has been giving attack-minded sides like the Galaxy, like St. Louis, issues so far. I do expect to see San Diego sit back more on the road as they did with an injured Galaxy side. But then shifting back to RSL, they don't have an MLS caliber 9. And the other returns on Diogo have got to be disappointing, I think. Diego Luna is really the only guy you can rely on. And if that's the situation, you got to be MVP caliber to do consistent damage. And Luna's just not that. So at elevation for the first time for San Diego, I like Aleka goals here as well. So just give me the under 3.5 in both games for plus money.
Yeah, I like this too. I mean, shoot, the RSL game's almost worth playing, under straight up as well. But yeah, no problem with combining these.
Oh, I didn't even mention that Chucky Lozano. He's out probably 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
so
that was
a hamstring. So San Diego's best player, bar none, is not there. The San Diego team is not deep. Like, they brought in some good names to be in that starting 11, but they're not deep. So they do not have like anything close to a Lozano replacement. And so just more fuel for the under.
Yeah, there was a big drop off too with obviously creation. No surprise, there was a big drop off when Lozano left that game. But I like the under straight up. I like it at 3.5 for the parlay piece. But you're right. I mean, RSL, all they've got is Diego Luna, and I mean, I would do bad things to see Luna wearing an Austin jersey, because that would completely transform our team. But that's a conversation for another day. I don't think it happens. But man, yeah. So I like this one too. I don't know what's going on with Nashville.
I don't know, man. They've never had like the attacking pieces needed. Surge is getting looks, and he's just not finishing. So I don't know. Like, he got 15 goals last year. I don't know if that's his ceiling. Maybe, because like he's probably should have arguably had a goal in both games so far this season, and he's just not finishing, man.
Right. Cool. Let's so that's our 4 official for the week. Let's do this real quick if you have time. We will screen share, look at a couple of the other games. Let's go here. Major League Soccer.
If there was no CONCACAF midweek, this is actually a slate I would really, really like.
Yeah, because there's a lot of teams involved. Let's see here. Share screen. All right. Here we are. Yeah, so I would definitely be interested in backing Columbus against Houston if they weren't.
I don't see anything. Are you sharing your screen?
You don't see it?
Mm-mm. Maybe the viewers can see it and it's just me. I don't know.
Huh. I can definitely see it on the display. Interesting. Let me try one more time.
Well, you say chat.
Yeah. Can y'all see this? Can you see it now?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they see it.
Oh, it's okay. It's just me. I'll just look on my other screen.
StreamYard's being weird today. Yeah, so like that one, for example. Yeah, I think Columbus back at home against Houston would have been a good
Columbus
look, but
was the last play I marked off the list of like not making the show. I would still like Columbus here hosting Houston even with midweek.
yeah,
Because they played Tuesday, right? Now the only downside is they have a quick turnaround after Saturday, right? But they've rested. They're going to get 4 days before Saturday.
yeah,
And there's no way Nancy was happy with that performance at all, man. And so like you should get a response from this crew side.
right.
Granted that I think that's probably done for them, man. I mean, it's a 3-goal deficit that they got to get out of. That is tough. I don't expect them just to roll over and like play dead,
Yeah,
but they might take some anger out this weekend. And at minus, I don't know what you're seeing. I'm seeing minus 125. Like
yeah.
at that
That's
money line,
huge.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was the very last play that I marked off.
yeah. I'm with you. I had it on my short list as well. Another one as I scroll through here. Um, I couldn't quite make heads or tails of it, and then like Lewis Morgan being out for an extended period of time, Atlanta United and New York Red Bull. Um, I almost looked at like a both teams are scoring over 2.5 there, just because I think Red Bull are just pesky on the road. They find ways to score, and they've got they've got quality. But without Lewis Morgan, it's a tough one. So I just passed.
I hate Red Bull's attack right now, man.
What you know what's funny, dude? Without Morgan, there was actually more clarity. It was like,
Well,
hey,
because there was only 2 people now taking the same spot instead of 3 people. Like, so
yeah,
yeah, it gets a little easier. But no, man, I hate their attack right now. Like like just looking at the Nashville game, it was a rebound goal and then a golazo from Forsberg. Like it wasn't a good offensive game from the Red Bulls on the whole, in my opinion. Now their XG's there, all that stuff's tracking. But I don't love the attack. Now Atlanta, they got issues on defense. I think that's very clear. But yeah, I Red Bulls are pesky on the road. Unless I'm backing them in some way, I tend to just avoid games Red Bulls are in.
cool. Yeah, I passed there too. Here's another one I had interest in. And then if there's any other ones you had interest in, we can definitely get to those. Another one I had interest in was this one right here. Another Texas team, Austin FC, hosting the Rapids. I actually think stylistically they match up real well with because Nico is he's going to have his teams play a certain way. This will be the first game that Brandon Vasquez, Uzuni, and Bukhari are all on the field together. We still have that issue where we don't really have a string puller. Like we don't really have a real 10. We have Ilie kind of playing that role. That's why I said I would do bad things to have, Diego Luna and an Austin jersey because we really need somebody. But I think we're like second or third in expected goals allowed right now. I didn't write that down, but I was scrolling through earlier. I think that's close. If that's not right, I'm definitely like in the ballpark, which is what his teams have always been known for. Really, really sound defensively, and they win games 1-0. Like all the time, right? Like that's how his FC Dallas teams were when he had some talent. That's how they were. When he didn't have the talent, they were bad because they couldn't even create it all. But now you got Ozuni, Bukhari, Vasquez all in the field together at home. Rapids are they've got some holes defensively, so it feels like a 2-0 for me for Austin. Big game at home with all the stars shining bright, finally in front of the home crowd. So that's one I might end up on too.
I think -130 for Austin is crazy. I don't want juice on Austin right now. Like I know it's the Rapids, but I don't want to eat juice for Austin.
Yeah,
Like that does not feel good at all. And I get it. Like the attacking pieces are there, but you're gonna have to ask players to play ISO ball because they don't have that string puller there in the middle to like conduct it all. And I think on the whole, this Rapids team is better than the Austin team. Like on paper, roster wise, like you have the best overall attacking player in Uzuni,
yeah.
but I don't know that I would not take like Uzuni's one. I think I might take Navarro and Mihailovic, 2 and 3. Like the Rapids team, I think might be better on paper. And so I just if you like Austin,
Mhm.
hit him up. But no, I'm not eating juice for Austin.
Yeah, I haven't bet it yet. I'll just say
But
that, right?
Rapids defense is an issue through 2 games. Like that's clear as day. I'm not saying, oh, I want Rapids at plus 340. No, thank you. Like at
So
most, the +1 is juiced. That's like where I leaned the most for this game is Rapids +1.
yeah, so I'm with you, like on the assessment of the roster as a whole, but I just think with those defensive issues and the style that Austin is playing right now, I think it spells trouble for Colorado because if Austin gets up, it's the vice grips, man. Like that's the type of team that they're going to be this year, which is kind of disappointing because we were hoping that they would have an exciting attack, but I don't think
But they,
Nico is capable of having an exciting attack.
maybe, but Austin hasn't played anybody of merit yet.
They
There was
haven't. Yeah.
Portland had no attack, and they played Kansas City, which Kansas City should be regulated. Like, send them to the USL now. Pick any USL team and bring them up.
Tampa
That's
Bay
what we need to
Rowdies.
do. It any of them. I don't care any of them. But so like that's my only issue here is like Austin hasn't played anybody who can attack. The Rapids can attack.
That's a good point. Yeah, and this is why we talk about it because I'm inching closer to a pass now. Um, let's
You want
see.
a wild one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is like the typical what do you call it in college football? Where like you just know somebody's gonna lay an egg, like a favorite's gonna lay an egg. Picking your brain. Anyways, it's FC Cincinnati versus Toronto. FC Cincinnati is hosting Toronto. Cincinnati played a 1-1 Tuesday. Now they got to go to Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this Toronto team at all, but this feels like just I'm going to just lose 3 points spot for Cincinnati. Like just give one up.
Interesting. I love the Cincinnati team this year. So
I love them too, but that is
yeah.
They are all in right now for CONCACAF. Like that is the focus. That is what they want to do right now. And this just feels like the overlook spot. Like they're just Toronto's just not good enough to like really be taken seriously. They haven't started off well. And man, they might come and sneak one out in Cincy.
Yeah. I mean, look ahead spot, sleepy spot, whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, that's what you're getting at with this one. I've got to get on the I got to get on the screen and watch a little bit more extended highlights of Toronto because I have not seen them play at all this year.
Not good. It's not good, Bob.
Yeah. Okay, that's a gut feel though. They're plus 400 at Bet365, so not a definitely not a bad price. Let's see another one here.
It is hard to not want to jump on the Union with how they've started the season.
Dude, yeah, what in the world?
Now
Let's
the Union's attack has always defied the laws of physics, right? We're like they just always do better than their XG. I mean, but good lord, they're slapping people right now. And
they
then
really are.
you've got a Revolution side who I don't know how many games Caleb Porter has left. They cannot formulate a chance inside the box to save their lives.
No. Horrible.
So this just feels like a spot where yeah, the Union, I mean, New England's technically a favorite at plus 150.
Yeah. I mean, holy moly, New England. Abysmal. Let's talk one more. I think we got to talk about it before we close up shop here. Inter Miami. Man, I'll tell you what my gut feel was looking at the price here, and I'll tell you my thought process, right? So Inter Miami, anywhere from minus 210 to minus 225 at home against Charlotte. We know how good Charlotte is defensively. Zaha seems like home opener, he played hard. I saw him hustling. Playing Messi, he's going to play hard. The rest of the season, I don't know. I can't guarantee his effort level for the rest of the games, but you know he's going to give his best for this one. Charlotte being like plus one-ish here was my immediate gut thought. Like
Plus one-ish. You could
is it plus
you could
1.25?
get you can get plus 1.25 at like minus 120 right now. You could get plus 1.5,
Yeah.
like if you're feeling frisky.
So that was my gut. Like what I wrote down. And then I was like, man, I mean, we have not made a habit of fading Messi. I'll just say that. I mean,
No, but I don't know if Messi plays, man. I mean, he got rested for Houston. Now
yeah.
they've got a Thursday night game for CONCACAF, right? Like, so they get the Thursday night game and then they play Sunday. So they're still only getting 2 days rest. Now, granted, it is, I mean, it is a nobody squad. Cavalier SC. So, like, do they need Messi for that? No. But I'm sure you play him.
They're minus 4.
It's yeah. Yeah, dude. It's I'll say this. Charlotte plus 1.5 is going to get my attention versus anyone in the league.
Yep.
Because they're the kind of team that could hang. Now, I'm not sure in this spot I'm going to eat the juice for plus 1.5, but I might throw them in with a dancing partner somewhere.
Yeah.
But Charlotte plus 1.5 is going to get my attention versus anyone in this league.
Glad to hear that because that was
especially in this spot, man, where it's just Thursday, Sunday. Like that's some quick turnaround.
This feels like, and don't get me wrong, anytime anybody in the league plays Miami, it's a huge deal for the team that's playing Miami. But this does feel like a much bigger game for Charlotte. And it's not just that it's a big game for Charlotte. They've got something. Charlotte's dangerous this year, and they're really good defensively. So I'm with you.
This is one that I think you wait and see how Miami lines up Thursday. You wait and see who's playing. If they run out the big guns, then yeah, I think you can tap Charlotte spread here for a little bit. Don't go crazy.
Yeah.
Because you know
a unit.
I mean, like
Suarez
just 38 and put up 3 assists and a goal the other night. Like this team can pop off. But if they and then you run this route, like let's say they rotate, all right, and they don't play well. They get out, they draw. Now it shouldn't, man. They got those under 22 kids should just be able to carry this team, no problem. But Miami's got a way playing the big guns Sunday and then again midweek. So, well, this is one that I'm probably waiting Thursday to see how Miami lines up before I really pull a trigger anywhere.
That's a good piece of advice, and that makes a lot of sense. Wait and see what they look like, because I mean, Messi's going to try to play in most home games, but if they play 60 minutes tomorrow, maybe not.
What do you do about Orlando?
Oh man, I like Orlando, and I mean that's my lean too. I mean, I know it's another road dog, and man, road dogs in MLS. We know the history there, but
Nah, man, you just take the home teams and retire. That's the MLS rule.
I'm leaning Orlando on that one, Garrett.
Orlando's given up 2 goals in every game of the season so far. It's disturbing.
It is,
including to Toronto. Now, granted, that game got out of hand. But
is it Yankee Stadium? Do we know, or is it Queens, or is it the other one? Let me
Yankee
look.
Stadium.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like it less being a Yankee Stadium, but still leaning. I lean Orlando. NYC needs some DPs. They don't have them.
Hold on, the total's not out of hand. Ooh, both teams to score is just out of price, just out of range, -165. That's probably where I would land.
There's a lot of both teams to scores that are good looks. Just wait like 10 minutes. That's all you got to do. On this slate in particular.
Not DC United Sporting Kansas City. I've never seen a worse team than Sporting Kansas City, dude.
Bro, that is a absolute shit game. Horrible.
They're up a man for 30 minutes. I'm screaming at my TV for anyone just to make a run. Just move.
Yeah.
Just literally drag a defender somewhere. You can go back towards your goal. I don't care. Just move.
What's honestly troubling about that situation is that they tried to freshen things up, and it looks like the players don't even believe. So I mean, it's probably this got to be it for Vermees. I mean, I don't see it getting better.
He's the first coach that's got to go.
Yeah,
Caleb Porter's right behind him, but like Vermees is the first coach that has to go.
Yeah, Kansas City, man, they definitely had like their golden era in MLS. They're gonna have to spend. I don't know if they will, but
they've shown they'll spend. They spent for Polito.
What was brought him in? Like 6 million?
I think it was 6 or something around that. Yeah. But like that's spending for MLS, and they did that 4 years ago. So they did it before. Like
that's true.
They still spent more than like the Philadelphia Union have ever spent. Like so, and when Polito first arrived on the scene, killed it.
Philly trying to play Moneyball when Atlanta's dropping 25 mil. Crazy.
But yeah. So like I said, there's without CONCACAF midweek, there's a lot of spots that I would like. Yeah, a lot of spots.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, 4 plays. Let's go 4 for 4. Let's get 4 winners. Let's get a good week under our belt. I feel really good about it. I feel good about the selections. I think we're giving ourselves a good chance for success this weekend. So, Garrett, anything before we go?
No, as always, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your support more than you know. And this is fun. So have fun with us. Sweat with us this weekend, and we'll recap it.
Yep. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment, tell us how horrible we are, tell us how great we are. Either one. We appreciate both. But we'll see you guys next week, and best of luck to us this weekend.
Best of luck, everybody.